with coverage you can count on. This is the Erie News NOWCAST.
Good Friday morning, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us here today on the Erie News NOWCAST. I'm Brissa Bradfield. We start as the late Supreme Court Justice, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, is lying in state in the U.S. Capitol today, the first woman and first Jewish person to have that honor. This is a live look at the U.S. Capitol building this morning. At that ceremony, Ginsburg arrived at the Capitol around 9:30 this morning. The feminist icon, who sat on the court for 27 years, was previously lying in repose at the U.S. Supreme Court building. Thousands of mourners paid their respects to the justice there. Ginsburg died last Friday night after a long battle with cancer. And protests continue around the country in the name of Breonna Taylor after a grand jury failed to directly charge the police officers involved in her death. Meantime, the man accused of shooting two Louisville officers during protests back on Wednesday night will be in court today. Lorenzo Johnson is expected to appear at an arraignment hearing. The 26-year-old is charged with 2 counts of assault on a police officer and 14 counts of wanton endangerment of an officer. Both officers are expected to survive. Now, earlier this week, that grand jury decided to charge one officer, but only with charges connected to firing shots into Taylor's neighbor's home. The family and attorneys of Taylor are expected to hold a press conference sometime later today. And the debate over coronavirus restrictions is playing out on multiple fronts in Harrisburg this morning. A Republican-backed bill that would eliminate 3 of Governor Tom Wolf's restrictions on bars and restaurants is on its way to the State House this morning. That's after getting the okay from the Pennsylvania State Senate. The measure would get rid of the ban on bar service, eliminate needing a meal to purchase any alcohol, and also let event venues operate at a minimum of 50% capacity. Republican leaders in the Senate say they're trying to help struggling Pennsylvania businesses survive. Governor Wolf says his restrictions are aimed at saving lives and says Republicans are playing what he called political games. Wolf is vowing to veto this bill. And as more schools decide to potentially go over the governor's crowd size limits, it looks like one of the area's biggest rivalry games will be played in front of a dramatically smaller than normal crowd. Rivals Cathedral Prep and McDowell are set to go head-to-head tonight in Mill Creek. And despite a number of area school districts announcing plans to dole out more tickets and possibly go over the governor's 250-person limit on outdoor gatherings, McDowell's sticking to that 250-person limit. Now, Iroquois, Fort LaBeouf, and Corey, as well as Fairview school leaders, have made similar decisions, as well as the Pencrest District in Crawford County. And switching gears now, as Port Farms is welcoming back families to their farm for another fall season. And while there are new guidelines to follow, it's still the same old fun. Port Farms is open with all the fan favorites like pumpkin patch, hay rides, the gift shop. But because of COVID-19, that corn box there on your screen will be closed for the season. Face masks will of course be required when you're not able to socially distance yourself from others. Hand sanitizer stations will be found all throughout the farm. Owner Kelly Port says she hopes families will still come enjoy some fresh air and escape the stress of 2020.
Activity, being outdoors, and as long as everybody kind of minds their P's and Q's and we all get along really well, just being able to distance still allows us to have a great time out at the farm. You can still come, you can still get great fresh activity. It's just going to be a little bit of a different twist this year.
And Port Farms is limiting capacity but tells us they have plenty of tickets to go around. They're open today until 7 p.m. And the mission is the same, but this weekend's Crop Hunger Walk is going to look a whole lot different. This is the 45th year for the walk that usually takes over a part of Presque Isle, but this year the pandemic has forced organizers to really modify the fundraiser that helps feed hungry people all around the world. So instead of a big walk, individual churchgoers are being asked to walk on their own this coming Sunday, whether it's down at the peninsula or even around the church parking lot. But despite all these changes, this year's walk, organizers say nearly $14,000 have already been raised. And if you'd like to learn more about the walk or take part this coming Sunday, log on to crophungerwalk.org/EriePA. And David Walter is joining us now. David, it's shaping up to be the perfect weekend for the crop walk.
It really is. Temperatures will be more like summertime. Right now, we are dealing with those fairly mild temperatures out there. Presque Isle looking good, basking in that sunlight. Starting to notice some more of those fall colors around the area. And the color of the day in the weather world, at least for us, going to be green because we are good to go throughout the rest of the afternoon. As long as you see green on the hour-by-hour forecast up here, that means we will have no problems with the weather, nothing that will impact those outdoor plans. Right now, 69 in Erie. We've got 55, a little bit cooler into Cambridge Springs, although I think we're trying to get some of those numbers updated because I think they're a little bit warmer than that as we speak. 62 in Bradford, 59 in Jamestown. We are certainly seeing some of the colors. The best ones right now for the region, really back there into McKean County, and you can send those autumn pics our way, weather at erienewsnow.com, and of course the colors will just get more vibrant over the next couple of weeks. But this weekend, yeah, it is more like summer. As highs will be around 80 degrees. Not expecting any rain. We'll have better chances for rain once we step into next week. We've got some high school football action, obviously, coming up tonight. Some stadiums taking on a limited fan base. We got McDowell and Prep. That's the big game tonight. Temperature still in the 70s around kickoff. A little bit cooler in southern Crawford County for Northwestern and Cochranton, upper 60s, but still, it's feeling pretty good for this time of year. And NFL action, all local. You can actually catch the Steelers on WSEE at 1 o'clock. 82 degrees. Not in Houston, that's in Pittsburgh. All these are home games for our area teams. Even in the Cleveland, nice and warm. Should be fairly sun-filled in Buffalo as they take on the LA Rams. All right, for today, your zone outlook as we break down that forecast. Temperatures into the upper 70s, middle and upper 70s. Lots of sunshine. Don't forget the sunglasses today. A very mild afternoon setting up. Upper 70s, Crawford and even Warren County. We'll talk about that 7-day and the big changes in the overall weather pattern coming up in just a moment.
All right, thanks, David. Well, quarterback facial hair was front and center last night when the Miami Dolphins traveled to Jacksonville to meet the Jaguars. Miami quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick and his mountain man beard against Jacksonville's Gardner Minshew and his 1970s-style horseshoe mustache. The topic creating lots of buzz on social media, putting the two QBs head-to-head, or should we say hair-to-hair. Miami went on to beat Jacksonville 31-13. And we all know that the joy that can come from animals. But did you know that they can actually reduce your stress levels and lower your blood pressure too? And all you have to do is watch them. A new study had participants watch videos of Western Australia's quokkas for 30 minutes. These animals are known for its smile-like facial structure, and the results, they speak for themselves. Average group blood pressure fell from 136/88 to 115/72, and anxiety levels reduced by an average of 35%. And if all the summer event cancellations left you hungry for some fair food, there's a chance that you can get some of that this weekend and help out for a good cause. The local group Embrace Our Veterans is hosting what they're calling a fair food fundraiser. It's happening out at Gravel Putt Park in Northeast. They say they'll have a list of fair food favorites, including fresh cut fries, funnel cakes, and fresh squeezed lemonade. It goes from 11 to 7 today and tomorrow, and then 11 to 4 on Sunday. And David Walter is joining us again. David, it's only 11:37, but how good does some fried Oreo sound right now?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I can go for that, even if the weather is colder. But this weekend, we're going to have those summertime feels. We are dealing with temperatures in the 80s as we go on through the weekend. So, yeah, you might be thinking about that summertime carnival, but next week, yeah, things certainly changing up in a fairly big way. We see more chances for rain, let's say especially by Tuesday. That's when the cold front starts to move on through, and that's when those temperatures go from the 70s down into the 60s. So kind of cool, a little nasty from time to time for Wednesday and Thursday. Maybe dealing with some lake effect rain showers because the air mass above our heads will be that cold to support some lake effect rain. Don't worry. We're not going to talk about the other dreaded S word that we don't want to hear about this time of year, but maybe later on give it a few more weeks. So this forecast, yeah, definitely split ends of things. We're dealing with the summertime weather for the weekend, but certainly turning more like fall next week.
All right, thanks, David, and thank you all for tuning in here on Facebook Live for the Erie News Nowcast. Our next broadcast is coming up at noon on WSEE. Enjoy your Friday, everyone.